So are you awake yet? If not, here, maybe this will wake you up. Today I'm going to lay out some facts for you that will make it pretty hard for you to deny the things that I've been presenting. Here, let's start with Exhibit A. Okay, you have a lot of teachers nowadays teaching about the short season and things like that, and that's phenomenal. However, they leave out some very key points, and I'm going to show you one of those. Let's talk about this beast that disappears and then comes back. Okay? The beast you saw once was, now is not, and will come up from the abyss, but it's on its way to destruction, and the people living on the earth, whose names have not been written in the book of life since the founding of the world, will be astounded to see the beast that once was, now is not, but is to appear. Now, listen to this next part. Now let's see where this beast that disappears, but then comes back again after a while. Let's see what he can do. I saw another beast coming up out of the earth. It had two horns like those of a lamb, but it spoke like a dragon. It exercises all the authority of the first beast in its presence. And it makes the earth and its inhabitants worship the first beast, the one whose fatal head wound had been healed. It performs great miracles, even causing fire to come down from the heaven into the earth. And yeah, you get it. You've read this one many, many times, right? But let's keep on looking even further. Okay, hey, down here. All right, now let's listen to this one. This calls for a mind with wisdom. The 7 heads are 7 hills on which the woman is sitting. Also, they are 7 kings. 5 have fallen, 1 is living now, and the other is yet to come. And when he does come, it must remain only for a little while, a little space, a little season, a little book, a short scroll, a short horn. But let's keep going. The beast, which was and now is not, is an 8th king. It comes from the 7 and is on its way to destruction. Exactly like we read in the last passage where it says the beast that comes back out of the abyss is here for a short time and is on its way for destruction. Then the 10 horns you saw are the 10 kings that have not yet began to rule, but they will receive as kings for 1 hour along with the beast. They have one mind, and they hand their power over and their authority to the beast. Now, keep listening. See, the problem is there's so many people saying the 1,000-year reign hasn't come yet because they don't even know what happens during the 1,000-year reign. They claim that we get glorified bodies during the 1,000-year reign. They claim we do not die during the 1,000-year reign. They claim there's no more day and night during the 1,000-year reign. But all of those things are a lie according to Isaiah 65. During the 1,000-year reign, yes, people still die, and yes, there's still sinners in the world. It says, there shall be no more thence an infant of days, nor an old man that has not filled out his days. For the child shall die at 100 years old, but the sinner being 100 years old shall be accursed. It says that these old people will die at an older age. They will live out their life and still die. Because Revelation 20 says that death, sin, day, and night don't get destroyed and tossed into the lake of fire until after the short season at the very end of the world. That's when death exists no more. That's when everyone is resurrected. And that's when everyone gets their glorified bodies for eternity. See, most people don't put together. During the 1,000-year reign, the only thing bound is you have the beast suffer a head wound, disappear for a little while, go to the abyss. Okay, then you have Satan, who's also bound for 1,000 years. Okay, then you have a peace on earth because the beast and the dragon are not on the earth for 1,000 years, and you have something else happen. Okay, for 1,000 years of peace on earth. Doesn't say people don't die. Doesn't say people get a glorified body during that point. It says it's a temporary time where even that ends and power is handed back to Satan for a short season. Power is handed back to the 10 kings of old, and power is handed to the short horn, the beast who recovers from its fatal head wound and comes back onto the earth after the 1,000 years of peace. Now let's talk about this 1,000 years of peace and what it really was. Have fun denying all of this. See, this right here is what most people do not put together. Rome, which killed the prophets and all those people before the 1,000-year reign, it was destroyed in 450, well, technically between 450 and 500, which is why they placed 476 here, okay? This is why it did not come back, the Roman Catholic Church of Constantinople, until the 15th century, which they placed into the center as 1453. This is why this matters, okay? Rome disappeared for 1,000 years, and do you know what they called that time? They called it the Dark Ages of barbarians instead of the Light Ages of Tartarians. Okay? And guess how long it lasted? From the destruction of Rome to the resurrection of Rome. From the 5th to the 15th century. Or like I said, 450 to 1450. And I'm going to prove to you some other facts you got to deny. Now, this is why this matters. St. Peter's Basilica, where the papacy sits, was rebuilt in April 18th of 1506, which followed what? Well, you should know that. Followed the New World of 1492, and also followed the Renaissance, which began in 1500 as well. Technically 1450, if you want to be specific with that, with the development of the printing press and those art styles. Which, by the way, fun fact, Renaissance itself means rebirth, restart, refreshing, new beginning. In case you didn't know, a new age. Also around the same time. But do you know what else was created around this exact same time? Fun fact. See this beast that goes away and comes back? It comes back with many blasphemous names, in case you didn't know that. And I'm going to look into those blasphemous names, which was also given an image to be created as well. I wonder what things were created in the New World dealing with an image and a name. I'll show you. See, the beast that comes back out of the abyss does the same thing as the first beast, exercises all the same powers as the first beast. And see, you have Roman Empire Constantine in between 321 and 325, changed the Sabbath to Sunday, and he also hosts the biggest book burning during that time up until King James later in the New World, where he burned original manuscripts and also started to literally translate things into Greek. Out with the old, in with the new. And among those things were names and other important things. But I'm going to prove something else to you. See, a lot of people see this Greek name up here at the top, and they think it's a wonderful thing, and they think the disciples wrote in Greek and spoke in Greek, and that he was given a Greek name at birth, a Roman name, by the way. And then they see this, and they're like, oh, that's a wonderful thing. Well, Constantine was the one that wrote these Greek names in your Bible the first time, which is where this ultimately came from when? Well, when the New World was created, and this letter J was created following the rebirth of St. Peter's Basilica, the Renaissance, the New World, and Rome's resurrection, where they created the letter J. Okay? Very important. And then they literally put this letter J in your manuscripts in the Bible in 1629. It is what it is. They weren't saying the name Jesus. The name Jesus was not used till then. But let's look at the other name. See, let's look back at this Roman Greek name that, like I said, was created by Greek, Rome, and Constantine when they burned original books, and then they brought in their Roman names, Roman translations that you're holding up so high today. Let's look at this number that this carries, both in Greek and also certain gematria numbers as well with the name Jesus. Okay, 888. Everybody's like, that's a great thing. I'm going to show you how great of a thing that is. See, the beast that goes away and then comes back after, it says the beast which once was and now is not, is an 8th king. And it says it comes from the 7 and it's on its way to destruction, which is why you have a 666 before the 1,000-year reign. You have the 7, which is rest, and then you have the 8th final king at the end of the world. But I want to prove this to you in depth. You see, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, his number was 888. Zionism is tied to the number 888 in Hebrew gematria. The name Trump alone is tied to 88, but then check this out. The name Donald J. Trump is 888, but it doesn't even stop there. See, Trump hasn't always been Trump, but before his name was Trump, their family name was Drumpf, as you say, okay? And as you see as well. But let me show you this. The numbers for Drumpf are 380, correct? Well, deny this. The letter Q is 380. You knew he was a snake when you let him in. The name serpent is 380. See, it says that that beast that comes back out of the abyss is covered with many names of blasphemy. That's because all the names you're given today are translated out of this Roman name of 888. But I still want to go back to this number 380 here of Drumpf and show you something else. Do you remember the Bible says that by pharmakia, the nations will be deceived by the father of lies? Well, check this out. RX in Hebrew gematria is 380. The symbol used for pharmakia is indeed RX. And drum roll for this one, the father of lies is also 380. Let's also look here at the distraction, Erica Kirk, and how her name also adds up just like Trump, 88, 88, and 88. See, you know, I could go on and on and on with Donald John Trump tie-in to Project Warp Speed and his obsession with 88 over and over and over again, as I have done in many posts. But I want to keep this one a little shorter today and let you just put together all the things I've already presented. Come to the conclusions yourself. I'm just presenting facts.